Can we start? Okay. So today I wanted to continue to explain about view and pure function. Then I will move on to the array. What are the built-in functions that we can use for array? And the concept of the array you already know. But I wanted to tell you what are the functions can be used and how the array will be handled in a blockchain, how the blockchain handle the array. So now this all thing already covered. So last week we learned about parents and child, the inheritance contract, how we're going to refer for that. And then I also mentioning to you the booleans, the basic data type. These all are the basic data type, and definitely you can go and specify more specific size of your data type that you want. This is just the example for that. So you're going to say that because we don't have a floating point number, what is the data type that we use to store our either money is unsigned integer. We are using unsigned integer to store our either pricing, okay, or the either amounts that we wanted to be transferred. Later on we will go for that. So last week I also covered about a local variable. I said that local variable is a special variable exist in the global namespace. Global namespace used to get the information of the blockchain. We will go and learn more about the global variable. So previously you have this particular MSG.standard. If you go and search for a solidity documentations, if you go, because I couldn't cover everything for you, I only can cover a common use global variable for your guide. So for example, under here, you go and search a solidity global variable. Okay. You're looking at the solidity document for global variables over here. This part. Okay. So now over this side, I wanted to tell you over here like the global variable usually we have using a time unit. For example, you can clearly specify second, minutes, hour, day like this way. Okay. You also can specify way, G-way or either. You can do this one. Either you can assign the value or you can compare the value using way, G-way or either. This one we will go and cover a bit for you later on. Not now yet when we come to sending a money. So another one will be this is all the block and transaction properties. So what I wanted to tell you over this, go down. These are the most commonly used under this is the mathematics and cryptographic function. If you want to call, you can call a hash function to generate a output for you, to generate the output for the hash value for you. You can call by using this function, okay, or the global variable. So the things that I want to bring you is a member of address type. Later on, we will going to learn a special data type called address. You can check the balance. You can check usually we check the balance. So the balance you're going to give the address in way, the formula in way. So also you also can use the address to transfer a money. Okay, transfer, that is a transfer, send and call. All these three methods transfer, send, and call all are sending the leader. I will going to tell you later on the differences between these global variable. This is what usually we do for it. We also can using this. So this method is referred to the current contract. Okay, it's not referred to the person account. It's not referring to the functions, that particular function. This here you can use this command or this global variable. This is referred to the current contract. So that is referred to the address of the current contract. Later on we are going to use this one also lah. You're going to see this type of the thing we are using. Okay? So these are the common global variable that we are going to use. So I cannot teach everything for your guy. So you need to come back to your the intention that you want. Only then you can determine which global variable that you need to be used up. Okay? So you can look for the solidity documentation. That is more than that. Because here I only give a capture. Here is only a bit only. So now this is what I wanted to bring you, the address type. Okay, the address type, which is based on just now you saw the global variable over this side. Member of address type. So address is one of the data type. What are the things has been defined inside the member of the data of this address type can be used. Before we can talk about the member, the global variable member over here, we're looking at the address. So from here, previously you understand that we have the address, we can keep the owner account address, okay, for the program. But now address actually, when you're using this data type address, actually they are going to given you a 20 byte value. Because our Ethereum address is 20 byte. So between the address and address table, if you're going to record down the address are required to do transfer of a leader. As long as they need to transfer a money or accept a money, either is receive money or transfer money. So that address you must be converted it into the paper. You must be define the address and paper. So you see that the size of address paper are the same as 20 byte, same as the address, but with the additional member transfer and set. If you are selling that you have this address, is that address owner. Oh, okay. When you send the address here, only 20 byte for you. Owner account, for example, you declare this. So when you declare this particular account, this account won't able to receive or sending any either. You must be going to give table. You must be give the word table. Once you have the address table, right, it means that this address, you can go and have a function. You can have a function of sending either, okay, you have an additional function like receiving, sending or transfer either for that. So the idea behind this distinctions is that the address table is the address that you can send the either to, while the blank address cannot send either. You must know for that. So we have a control of the address. So does not mean that every address that you are keep inside your passing down to your back end, the address can be do transfer of either. So if you have an implicit conversion from address table to address are allowed. So what does mean implicit conversion from address table to address are allowed? It means that let's say you defining the account owner account as an address table. Initially, when you beginning, you define this owner account as an address payable. But later on, you did not using this owner account to transfer any either. Let's say you do not do anything. So mean that you are having the implicit conversion. Okay? You specifically said that this address need to make payable, but later on you did not use it. So that's why by right you should make it as address. You should define it as address. So that's why it's that implicit conversion from address payable to the address is allowed. But from the address, whereas from the conversion from address to the address payable must be explicit via this payable address. You mean that you cannot be when you say that you want this address, if you're going to say that this address, this is the owner account address, later on inside your function there, so this owner account address will receive the money. You must be explicit to convert the address to become payable. You cannot be auto. They won't go and auto help you to convert. Okay? You must be explicitly mentioning that that account, owner account, are receiving money. Okay? And you must be clearly define the account as the payable account. Okay? So over here, actually you have already learned how to using a constructor inside to retrieve the owner address. Okay, using the constructor. Okay, this is asking you to demo. Okay, actually I already demo for you lah, so I don't go and demo this for you again. But we will use this for further. Okay, the address card because this is only the retrieve the owner account. Okay, while deploy the contract. Now we come, even though I don't demo the rest of it, we will coming to the lab number 6. We will learn more how to use the address, sending the either and so on. That will be on the next lab exercise. So now we're still talking about a visibility specifier because previously we already covered external and internal. So now, how to look for a private and public for the visibility specifier? He said that by default, modifier all are private one. Okay? So your functions all is a private, even though your data, your state variable, as long as you declare a state variable, example here, address, owner account. You declare this variable like state variable like this way. This particular owner account auto by default is a private. So if you wanted to make it as a public, so you must be explicitly stated that the modifier is a public for that. So when you declare as a public, the intention you declare it as a public is you can have an accessor. It means that you can have a getter function automatically. You can go and retrieve the data from the function or from the state variable. That is the things that. So now this exercise 2 here, I also wanted to take it out because this is only wants you to check the default size of the size in the bit of the data type. He wants you to understand, okay? So the variable created, okay, as a public constant, what is the size of the data? When you create a boolean public state variable called my boolean, and then you assign the value as true and so on. So and also that create the signed or unsigned public integer state variable called my int, my unsigned int with the value -1 and 1. So actually this exercise is very simple. It just wanted to define the state variable with a different data type. And then he wants you to compare the default size given for the state variable. Okay, so I don't want to wasting for this time because we are not focusing on looking of the receiving the gas price. Okay, gas used for a data, they are state variable over here. Okay, so defining for that. So I want to move on that exercise. So now we wanted to come to the view and pure function. So I think last week you also can see that we created a function. So real and pure function definitely is used in our function header there. We are not using real and pure in our state variable. So because this is the access modifier. So so when you have a getting function, it means that when you get the function, getting function, it means that it's retrieve the data from the state variable. When you retrieve the data from the state variable, if you have it, so you can go and define the function whether it's a real or pure. Okay? So getting we are not talking about changing the state, it's go and retrieve the data from the state variable. So if you are using the real function, as you know, real function, it means that you are not going to change the state. No state will be changed. Okay? No state will be changed, in that you are not able to change the state inside the state variable there. If you are going to have a pure function, it means that you cannot read the state. No state variable will be changed or read. Cannot read, cannot change. So, look like this example over here. Let me enlarge for that. Because it's a sample, I just want you to understand for that. So now, from this one, as you can see, I just simply call my contract as real and pure. But here got the state variable called x equal to 1. I purposely make it as a public. Just let you know that, okay? As a public. So now, as you can see over these two functions here, these two functions, look at your function number, the first function over here called x to x. So x to x here. And over here, I got the input parameter passing in y here. So I said that public will return unsigned integer. Based on here, the view here, he said that based on the title of this header here, you already promised that you are not going to modify the state. You are not able to modify the state. It's referred to this variable. If here got many state variables, so it means that you cannot modify any state variable over here. So example over here, you have an input data y. You said that you only read the data. You allowed to read the data x is 1. 1 plus your data y, and then you immediately return. This is called view function. You control the state here. Okay? But now you're moving on another one here. Promise not to modify or read from the state. So in this function here, just wanted to demo for you, there is the add function, and there is a data passing from the front end, okay, passing from the front end to your smart contract, and you have a two value. This value is I and J, and then you can see that you are defining as a pure function. It means that you are not allowed to read the data from the state variable, and you're also not allowed to update the data from the state variable. So that's why you look at the content, the transaction inside this particular add function here. You're only using the I and the J, the user input data, and going to add up together and return back to the front end. So this is the pure and real difference. So pure is totally cannot touch on your state variable. Inside your code here cannot read and modify any state variable that you have here. Remember, this is a permanent data stored inside your storage of the node. Now, just now I said the basic, data type, I don't cover. I don't want you to check what is the size of that, because exam they won't go to ask what is the size of this data type, okay? Whether it's 32 byte lah, whether it's 20 byte, they won't ask for that, okay? Second thing is, we are not focusing on how to design our program until we can sieve the storage of the sieve the storage and sieve our gas use. So if we are focused on sieving the gas use, then define of the state variable, the sequence and the data type, how to put it inside my storage, that will be really need to be go through in detail if I wanted to cover for how to sieve the gas use. So today we are not cover for how to sieve the gas use. So that's why for the exercise number 1 over here, I'm going to skip. Exercise number 2 here, I'm going to skip. Okay, just create a state variable only. They don't have any function at all. Okay, from this part. So the purpose is checking the default size of the data type only. Okay, so not my intention. I want to cover more because this array, you will have the array function. Then you have another one exercise. Then we can come back to we can go to the next chapter for addressing how to passing, because your next chapter will be your next lab exercise will be the specific data type. Okay, so specific data type you will go and learn address mapping and message, and then how to send the either. So I need more time. So only then we can go and telling you how to deploy a Synchronious testnet. That one will be take time for that. Okay. So this is the thing that I mentioned. I wanted to stop from doing that. I need to go for more for this. Else I will be delayed for that. So now we come to the array. So what is a function can be used in an array? So just now, when you said that you can define the array for the string, you can define the array for unsigned integer, any data type you want. Okay, how to define for that? Is that. So once you declare a state variable as an array, so then you can have a function called push function. You can append the data into the array using push function. You can using a function called pop function. The pop function is remove the last element. Usually we are going to use these two. Okay? So if you go, we have other method. Usually we are using push and pop, these two functions. So if you say that, now I delete this one. This is today input. Let's say this is an array of 40, 20, 100, okay, 10 and 1. So as you know, array index number is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the same. Concepts are the same. So that you cannot delete. So that you cannot delete or remove the data from the array according to the index number. You cannot say that, oh, I want to delete this one. You cannot say that pop function. Pop, let's say this is data child, for example. You cannot say that pop data child then index 2 dash over here. You cannot do so. Okay? So the pop function is only can remove the last element. Last element only from the array. So if you are really if you say that, if you don't want to use push and pop function, and you are really want to go and delete the data set. Michelle, I want to delete this, no matter how. I want to delete this one. No matter how you wanted to delete this part. So what I can do that. So if you delete this one, you just using the delete. Then you are delete the data child index number 2. You do so, what will be happen? So this one you just leave as blank. You just delete. So this is the gap. Then you put back to the 0. You put back to the default value. So the size of the array are still the same thing. They will not automatically adjust for you, and then the storage still the same. Okay? So this is the thing that later on we do that. Okay? So another one is that which how in this case cannot. We wanted to control. We don't want, because the 0 is not a data anymore already. 0 is not your data. Okay? So that's why what you need to do is you can use the swap and delete. This is usually we are doing in a C programming or C++, something like that. The how we go and delete the data from the array. So this one is that you using this method swap. The order in the array is not important. What does mean swap and delete? So it means that you are go. Now if there are second method, this is the first method that I mentioned. Second method is what you're going to do. You using this data, move it here. Original just now is 100. You are using the last data. Usually you are using the last data, move to the item, move to the element that you wanted to be deleted. So that's why this 100 you become 1. So after that you swap already. You swap it. You swap the last element. Okay, you swap with the last element. After that you go and delete. You go and delete the last element. You go and delete the last element using the delete method. So in this case, you are going to delete this one. So when you delete this one, you are using pop. You're using pop, not using the delete. You're using pop this method. So that is a second method. Okay, swap and delete. The last data, the last element data, move to the place that you want to be deleted. After that, here got data 1, here also got 1. And you are using pop method is because you need to reduce back your array size. As I said, array, if this is a state variable, the storage of the array is important. If you say that this one, the data child from this is a normal data in a memory one, then you don't care. Okay? Because the memory's price for storing the data for the array, we are not very important. Not even the gas is very less compared for that. So the next thing is this one. You do this one. The data one's already moving over here. The order of the data stored inside the array element is not important. That's why you are using swap and delete. As long as the data are kept inside, the array, then you use the method number 2. So the method number 3 here is, if you think that you wanted to make sure the data inside the array is important, the order of the data inside the array is important. In this case, you are not able to immediately just swap then delete for the last one. You must be using a follow, moving one data from one element to the next, then moving another one to the next, and so on. This is the part. You must be moved by right here 100. You want to delete this one, you deleted already. Then you need to move this one, go to the in front. Then the last one, the behind one data move to the in front in one place. To ensure the order back, only then you can delete the last element, because you need to make sure the order of the data inside the array according to the sequence, according to the order. Okay? So this is a part. So if you're doing this one you are moving from one data back to the front, moving and front data. If your array is very big, if your array is very big, you doing this kind of delay, you need to use a follow. Processing will be more higher. Gas use for this process will be higher. So you need to think carefully how you wanted to store the data and whether the order of the data is important or not. This is the part. So now, let's us going to this one very small. Let us to go and try to create how we can get the array, how we return the data and so on. We are going to do this array for this one. A demo for you. Let's everyone go and do it. Okay, so I'm call this one as an array. Array.sort. Definitely your assignment you may need to use array already. No matter you doing the problem number 1 or problem number 2, you need to have an array. You don't tell me that your fund, your durand fund is only got one durand. Impossible. Okay? Either you use array or you using a structure. Usually we are the easy way is using a structure, because struct data type you can define the durand, whether the durand type, the durand ID and durand durand ID and the fund ID inside. Okay? So that's why over here we coming to the outside SPDX license identifier MIT. So make sure make it as an auto compound as usual. Then Prac solidity. Okay, so define as greater than 0.8.0, then less than 0.9.0. Okay, so now, so I will call it as a contract array. So over this side, I wanted to testing showing you how we are going to retrieve our data with different array. So unsigned integer, as I said, we don't have a float, we don't have a double. Okay, we only have an unsigned integer. Okay, so then the array size over here you must be give the symbol already. You give this array size symbol, and then I make it as a barbie because it's easily for me to retrieve the data. I got the ARR array. Okay, let's say I got array 1. Okay, array 1. Then at the same thing, I can have this one array 2. Okay? The reason is here is I wanted to telling you that we can initial or declare the data. Let's say when you do this one, we initial the data like this way. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? We do this part. So it's not using curly bracket. Okay? The C language are using curly bracket, C plus. Okay? So now, before we moving on how to use pop and how to using pop and also this particular push function over here. So we're going to learn how we go and return the data. Okay, we go and how to return a data. So from here, based on these questions over here, very not really can see. So this data, no data one. Okay. So now, because the array one here is an empty, so that's why from here, if I go, if you can see, I'm going to have a function get data. Okay, get data. For example, get data. So in here, you must be passing in your index number. You need to passing in your index number. Index. So index number also is a integer number. Okay, or very small one. You can mention about unsigned integer. Okay. Index number, the one, the bracket, this number. Which one you wanted to retrieve? Okay, this index number. Unsigned integer 8. Okay. For example, I said that index. I make it as an index. For example, like that. Unsigned integer. Unsigned integer. Okay. So then I will go and make it as a public, and I will going to retrieve the data. As you can see, I'm going to read the data from the array. That's why I'm defining as a view function from here, and then I'm going to return. So let's say the purpose that I wanted to return here, I wanted to return the data from here and also the data from here. So I wanted to let you see if the data inside the array one here is empty and I wanted to return the index value, what he will going to return. So I let me go and modify. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I give the data 10, 20, 30, and 40. Let you see the things up. So from here, I will wanted to return for unsigned integer. Okay, I will return 2 unsigned integer value for it. Okay, from this part. So from this unsigned integer, I will have a return. I will return array 1 index over here, and also the array 2 index. Okay, so you can do this kind of return. So this return will return back to your front end. So for example, now I just simply, I don't care about which name, which account and so on. I just simply go and deploy it. And then now I said that, okay, I wanted to return. So you have an array 1, array 2, because you are over here, you make it as a public. Okay? Because you make it as a public, definitely you will going to see that this is a green color. Okay, sorry, blue color over here. You can directly retrieve the data because getting function automatically will given over here based on the sentence just now I'm mentioning over here. Here, you explicitly state the public modifier if that is what you intend to. For every data declared public, the accessor or getting function is automatically providing. So the getting function is automatically providing. So that's why you can see over here, you have an array 1, you have an array 2, then you will get data. So this get data, I'm going to return data, 2 data at one time by using one index number. But this one is you are retrieve. This is the auto getting function given for you. So now let's say I'm using the getting function. I say that okay, I want to have an index number 1. So based on your understanding, if that is the index number 1, actually you are retrieve the 20. Because the index number start from 0. This is a 0, 1, 2, 3. So index number 1 should retrieve the value 20, and here is a blank, is a 0 value. You go and retrieve. So now what he will going to give you over this side. Okay? From here, you refer to the get function, you go down, and you can see that this is the error. Error, process already done, but here telling you an error. They can only retrieve one value because your data in there is here. Your index array 1 index here is an error. You see that error failed to decode the output, error data output bound, the length offset, all this. You only can retrieve for, cannot work for that unless you have a data inside your array 1. Okay? Unless you have a data inside your array 1. So that's why you can see I wanted to demo for you, is it true or not? Now I'm going to key in the index number 1 here. I'm going to key in the index value 1 inside the array 2. I can retrieve the data 20. Not a problem. Okay? I can retrieve the data 20 from that. Not a problem. I can get it. Okay? And based on the debug value over here, you will able to see 20 are given. Your decode the input, you pass it, the input data is 1 and given you a 20. So now if you say that I also passing the value 1 here. Okay, for the array 1, as you know, array 1 here is empty. I passing 1 over there and I go and get. So same thing, you won't see any output. And then he said that there will be the array 1 error occurred, okay, because of the VM error reverted, okay, the revert the transaction. But however, when you do so, what you can see, I'm changing the account over here, okay. This is 100 and now you are retrieve the data. You are retrieve the data. The data will not be, the money will not be deducted. Make sure you understand that because this is a read the data. You cannot read the data because it's blank. But no charge for your transaction. This is not considered as a transaction as I told you. So that's why, let's say, if I go and set the value array, I set the value array, let's say this is a 88, 99, 22, 33, okay, for example, and do something, I put in something in there. So I wanted to tell you that I can get 2 data at one time, I can access 2 arrays at one time, as long as you ensure you have the data. So you need to make sure if you do this kind of accessing, returning the data, you make sure your array 1 and array 2 for data first, else you will have a problem to retrieve the data. So I'm going to throw away of my contract, okay? I throw away of my contract and deploy one more time. So once I deploy one more time already, I get the new contract over here, and now I'm going to key in my index number 1. And now you were able to see that I can return 20 and 99 over this side. Okay? 20 and 99 from here. It's the same as what I mentioned over here. So be careful lah if you are going to have accessing the two array, because you did not know what is the size, and you need to ensure the array got data lah. Okay, else one got data, another array no data, then it will come up Ethereum virtual machine error for that. So now we are need to move on. So this is a returning individual data. Now we are going to return the entire array. How to return the entire array? Based on this side from here. So if you wanted to return the entire array, you no need to have passing in any input parameter already. You no need to have passing the index number as an input parameter anymore. But be careful, because you are returning the array, and you need to define your return data type. Over here is an array symbol for this particular symbol there, and you need to define the memory size, the storage, the data location as memory. So that's why from here I just go and modify from here. So this function I copy, and I'm going to paste over this. Now I'm treat the get whole array. Okay, so because you're getting the whole array, you no need to have any input parameter. You no need to define the size of the array. Okay, again now I'm using unsigned integer because I know that my index numbers my index number is 0, 1, 2, 3 is less than 8 bits. Okay, that's why I'm using unsigned integer 8 bit. And because index number is always a positive value. Okay, I don't put integer. Okay, so this is the thing. So in this case, we don't need to have any index number. And then over here, your return data type, because you are returning the whole array, so that's why you need to have this symbol to indicate that you are returning whole array. And then you also need to mention about the memory. If you did not given it, you're going to see the warning. Okay, if you can see it, if I did not give the any memory type data location and then over here I'm returning the array 1 and also the array 2 at one time, all in one time, like this way. Okay, and now you can see they are highlighted, telling you that that is a data location problem. Over here, talking about data location must be memory or core data, already mentioned to you. Okay, because this one definitely is core data, you're passing back to the front end only. So there's no choice to solve this type error. I must be go and give a memory. Same thing as over here. Okay, so understand how to returning the entire array. So same thing, I'm going and deploy, throw it and test one by one. So then you go and have a look at your array. So if I just directly go and click on the whole array, so you're going to see that all the data are passing back. Remember, all the data you're passing back to the front end. Your front end also need to have the array data type to receive this data. Okay? To receive this data, to receive this data for further process. Maybe you are returning holding, then you want to display the data for the user, for the front end to see it. Okay, you can do so for that. So now, next thing we need to move on how we go and push the data. So when we have a push data, it means that you are wanting to append the data in. And they are always using the append method, is append it in your last element, to your last element. Okay? And under the push, append to the last element. So that's why under this one, you can have a function over here called function append, or you call it add data. So remember, your data added in, you must be follow the size of this. It's not follow unsigned integer 8. You must be refer to the data type inside the array. So that's why over it is unsigned integer. Let's say you're assuming that is a input data given from the front end. So you because of this, you are able to changing the state variable. So that's why I'm dividing as a public, and I also wanted to I don't go and do any return. Okay, just append the data in there. So now from this case, same thing, you can append the data, two data, the data added into the array 1 and array 2 at the same time. You can do so. So without doing any, we just go and append it into the number 1 only. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I just have the push. Use the push. Sorry. I'm use the array 1 dot push. The push bracket here. Alright? So you can see this one. You mentioned about the data will be pushed to the array 1, and what is the value? Value are coming from this input parameter. So that's why inside here you need to have mentioned about your input data. Can you see that? If you say, Amisha, I want to push the two data at the same time inside the array 2, you can do so. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay? You can do so. Depends on your intent, what you want to do. So I wanted to push the data passing into the array 1 and array 2. Remember, they will append only. They will last element. It means that they will add it after 33, he will add the new data after 33, and he will add the new data after the 40. Okay? So now, just testing up from this before we move on. Sometimes we cannot just continue to add all. We just need to test one function by function based on whether the functions perform as what you intend or not. So from here, we are going to have this get the whole array. This is the whole array that you have, original data that you have. Okay? Original data that you have. So now, I'm going to pass it in an index value. Remember, you only can have one. So that's why one input data. Let's say I want to pass it in 77. Okay? I key the 77, and then it's a unsigned integer I'm going to add. So when I'm going to add, this is a transaction. Price will be going to minus already, and going to rule on the either will be minus already. Then I want to get my data, whether 77 will be added into my array or not. So that's why you can see the two data has been added in. The data, not two data. The input data has been added into the two array. Okay? Any problem for that? Am I going too slow? Can I? Now, moving on. So after you understand how to write the push function, now we're going to look at how to write a pop function, remove the data. So as I said, remove the data, you are required to function. We said that remove data. So when you're using the remove data, this remove data, you don't need to passing input. You don't need to passing the index number. Because this remove data, you wanted to use pop, P-O-P, this pop function. based on the over here, the pop function is definitely you remove from the last element. Definitely you remove from your last element. So that's why you no need to give any index number in. You no need to tell me, oh, I want to remove the index number 2 or I want to remove the index number 4. No such thing. Okay? Using pop number. So that's why over here, remove data. So that's here, I make it as a function. Public. Cannot view, cannot pure, because definitely you are accessing to the state variable. Okay? So that's why I'm going to have this, and then this pop will be there. So same thing, which array you wanted to be removed. For example, I just wanted to remove for the array 1 dot. Okay? You're using array 1 dot. I only remove the last element from the array 1. Okay? So this is the part. Okay? So now maybe after remove you wanted to let me remove first. Okay, never mind. After you remove, I want to tell you the size of the array. Size of the array, because always we may need to passing up. Okay? When we passing this data back, when we passing this data back to the front end, you also need to see how big of your array. Okay? Only then you can use to do looping. You need to have a size of the array passing back to the front end, and then you have your data inside your array. Then you're using the size of the array from the front end, have a for loop, then you display the data one by one on the front end, maybe in a table form to let the user see the transaction and so on. Get what I mean now? So you also need to know how to retrieve the array size. So that's why I'm going to add on. Over here, I think I don't have. Let me see here. Here I have getting the array. Okay, so that's why I will have the function. I will have a function called get length. Okay, so when you get length, you no need to go and have any index number and so on, because you are checking the length of the array. And you wanted to return, this one is because you are going to read. You're going to read the data. You will read the state variable, and you wanted to return the size. And the return the size, as you can see, the size can be less, very small. You don't need to have until a very big size like 32 byte. Maybe you just need to have this particular unsigned integer 8 only. Okay, and I wanted to return for 2. I want to let you know I wanted to return unsigned integer for array, for the array 1 and also the array 2. So that's why I will have a return, and you're using the bracket to group everything. Array 1 dot length, using the command called length, LENGT. Then you have the array 2 dot length also, like this way. You do return, then return everything together or not. Hold on, let me see. This one cannot. Give me a minute. Cut error, return argument. Sorry. Sorry about that. The return argument type must be a 256. Must be the unsigned integer. I cannot define it. Okay, based on this error. So it's not implicit convertible. We cannot convert it to the unsigned integer 8. Sorry about that. So the line here is not because of the return error problem, because the length over here, the original defined is 256. is a 32 byte. Okay, so there is no choice, I must be defined like this way. Okay, so then no need to indicate a memory. So now we coming back to our deployment again, we go and delete it. So I'm going to deploy it one more time. So after I deploy it as usual, I'm going to add the data. Let's say just now I add 77. So after I add, as you can see the whole array that returned to you, this is the data. This is the data that you want. So now I wanted to test the remove data. So the remove data is here, but as you can see, remove data, I will remove the array once only. So that's why I need to pass it in. I don't need to pass it in any input parameter as I told you. From here, you don't need to pass it in any input parameter. I just press this button. It means that you just need to call this button. They will remove your array. Once this 77 will be removed up. Okay. Before I remove up, let us check the array size. So get the length. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total up, we also got 5 elements, 5 data inside each of the array there. And then now I'm going to remove the data. I press one more time, and then I get the size again. You can see the size is become 4, and I will go and get the whole array. I will go and get my 77 already removed up. So by using the pop method, your storage will be smaller. You will getting smaller. Charge will be lesser if you're doing that. If you are not using pop, you're using what I mentioned just now over here. Over here, this method, they won't help you to solve the storage. Okay? The storage method for that. So I don't want to demo further. So we wanted to go. Is there any chance how I'm going to use this delete method? How to call this delete method? So under the program over here, I also have been demo for you. You can use this. Okay? Over here. How to call up? Now, over this side, you can have a function called delete. Data. Okay? So if you're using delete data, it means that you need to have you need to pass in the index number. You need to pass in your index number. Okay? Because you wanted to delete specific data from that. So when you're using this, you are accessing to your state. So that's why over here you use the word delete. Then you tell me that your data are coming from where? From array. Let's say you are deleting the array 1, for example, array 1, based on your index number, you passing in this index number like this way. You do this kind of delete. Then I will going to tell you the size of the array does not affect it. Okay? Now, one more time. One more time. I come to this delete. I delete from the array 1. So now I delete this whole thing, the contract that I have been deployed. So I'm going to delete it. So I run one more time and give you a proof of the concept. So now I will have a data. So I will go and get whole array. As you can see, this is the data, original data. So then I will going to add the data 77 in there. Okay? 77. I get the whole data again. I'm still get 77 from here. 77 from here. So what is the length of these two data? Yes, it's a 5. So just now I already demo for you. I'm going to use the remove data. My array will be updated to become 4. If I just now I'm going to remove, I'm using the remove, I'm using pop function. But now if I'm going to using the function, I call the function called delete. Let's say I wanted to delete the 99. Okay, I don't want 99 to be shown over here. So based on the array sequence here, the 99 is the index number 1. Index number 1. So then I will passing in my index number 1 here, and I press delete button. Okay. So once I press delete button, now I'm going to click on the get whole array, and you can see 99 is no longer already. 99 data already deleted, but it's going to replace by the default value, which is 0 value. It's not really represent the actual data. And then your size of the array, I click on the left, the size of the array still remain 5. The size of the array still remain 5. They did not delete it. Okay? Actually, it's not totally deleted for that. Remember over here, usually why inside the smart contract here we only introduce the port, this function, and the append over here. We don't encourage you to use delete. The reason is the blockchain, the transaction and the block is append one by one. The data already been there. Okay. Usually is you are more on adding the data or remove the last element. Okay. Remember, you remove the last element or you add the data inside your last element. All this is part under still added inside your block. Even though it's like this one, it's like this one, I deleted array over here. You actually that are recorded down your transaction you have been deleted out. Okay? So that is the new data inside your array. So to me, I won't use delete. You use back the pop. Okay? Pop. And also your push function. Try not use array, use delete method, because this is not affected your storage. They don't update your storage. Okay? So I know I should give you a break. So while you're doing a break, please take your attendance, and we're going to quickly go for this setting to developing this bidding smart contract. Okay, according to this class diagram. Okay? So only then we can move on for the lab number